talking about the doctor crap. I do have a lot of things on your list that I do want to talk about. So when you say abortions all 9 months, you feel like that should be like a thing?
Yes.
And why?
Because somebody should be able to end the rights violation of being pregnant at any point if they don't consent to
Okay,
something using
I'm a
their body.
woman. I've given birth to 3 children.
Okay.
But if you're at 9 months pregnant, do you know how that procedure works?
What procedure?
Abortion at 9 months.
Yeah, you would have an induction abortion, which is just inducing labor. Or a hysterotomy abortion, which is just a cesarean section.
Well, I mean, if you're at 9 months, again, I've given birth to 3 children.
Okay.
Why not give it up for adoption? Why wait that long?
You can still give it up for adoption after you have an induction abortion or a hysterotomy abortion, if you want to. Still give it up for adoption if you want.
And now, like, why are you a man? I presume you're a man because this whole gender stuff is stupid. But why are you speaking or wanting topics about abortion?
Because it's a topic that people talk about.
Okay, so let's go on to gender affirming care. It is safe and necessary.
Correct.
Finally, Carlisle has been returned with our last witness.
My oldest is 13. He does not need gender affirming care.
He would if he had severe gender dysphoria. Yeah.
I do not care if
Okay,
they have
so
gender
you don't care
dysphoria
if you're
because
you
I
don't
seen
care
a
if your
little
kid.
a little boy who was 13 who was talking about, oh, I'm trans fluid, and
Some might
she was
be,
like,
yep.
one day I can be a woman and the next day I can be a man.
Some kids
He
might
was
be,
13.
Yep. Some kids might be, yep. But if you don't care if your kid has gender dysphoria, then you don't care if your kid is at risk for self-harm or suicide. You would rather they stay at risk for self-harm and suicide than go with the appropriate means of treating their self-harm and suicide via gender-affirming care.
I didn't understand the abortion topic. Okay, so what is the abortion topic then, Lola?
You believe abortion to be killing a baby when abortion just means the termination of a pregnancy, specifically the evacuation of the contents of the uterus via medical means. So there are abortion methods you can have after 24 weeks of gestation that don't kill the fetus.
Well, I don't understand how I'm not understanding about my rights being taken away, but thank you, Danny.
How are your rights
terrible.
being taken away?
That's what somebody in the comments said.
Would you like to go speak to the comments?
I fully support my son.
Unless he was gender
said, I
dysphoric.
don't, no, if he wants to come out and do something, I'm not going to like support him through like surgery. Like if he came out and he said something like he wanted to be like another sex, I'm not going to put him through that.
You just specifically said you said I don't care if he has gender dysphoria. When I told you that gender dysphoria is something that needs to
I
typically be
would
treated.
prefer my children to get older and be smarter and wiser.
What does being smarter and wiser have to do with knowing your identity?
You were 13,
Correct.
right?
I knew I was a boy.
Yes.
Yeah, if somebody had said I needed to get older and wiser before I could know I was a boy, I would have looked at them like they were stupid. Because I knew I was a boy. Just like trans people tend to know that they are the gender that they identify as. They might not have the specific words for it, which is why we educate them on like proper verbiage and stuff like that, but they tend to know.
I am so sorry about your bad luck, but like these kids that like support your kids, if they're 4 years old, they want to dress as a girl. If they're a boy, then support that. But my comment is, when you're putting them through surgery, like top and bottom surgery at 14 and 15 years old, that is way too far.
Why is top surgery too far?
When you're a child, they are children.
Okay, that didn't answer my question.
What was your question?
Why is top surgery too far?
If you're a child?
That doesn't answer my question. You just keep saying if you're a child, top surgery is too far because you're a child.
If you're a child, Who are you dependent on to depend on that surgery?
Do you know how many people regret having breast reduction surgery? Or having like mastectomies? Do you know how many people actually regret that? I can pull up the number for you if you want.
Y'all in the comments saying that children aren't having surgery, they have it all the time. So y'all can stop with that.
Well, children aren't
Happens
really having
all the
bottom
time.
surgery. That's saved for like 17 and up. So I wouldn't necessarily say children
And
are
that's
having
still a
those.
child. I am 36 years old. That is still a child.
You think 17-year-olds are children? I would say they're teenagers. They're
They're
like 365 days from being adults. I'd say there's no
20
real
years old is
developmental
still a
difference
child to
between
me.
an
Like, you're
18-year-old
still
and a
learning. You are
17-year-old.
still growing. And
So in
men at the age of 20
365
are
more
still
days, though, then they
developing.
can wait. Just confirming, in 365 more days, then they can have top surgery.
At the age of 20,
So
these kids are still growing.
wait, but that doesn't
How
wait.
old are
I'm sorry.
you?
I'm sorry. I'm 30. So I'm sorry. You're confusing me a little bit. Do you think trans people should have to wait till they're 20 to get gender affirming care?
Gender affirming care is different from surgery. Gender affirming
Nope.
care.
Top surgery is considered gender affirming care. Gender affirming care is an umbrella term that is a list of medical, social, behavioral, and psychological treatments to help affirm someone in their gender identity.
So you need a therapist.
Yes, typically every gender dysphoric diagnosis is coupled with therapy. That's how you receive the diagnosis. You think they just give themselves the diagnosis?
Typically, they will diagnose themselves, same as people will diagnose themselves with autism and ADHD and depression and bipolar.
So self-diagnosis is a good tool to start to understand yourself, but you can't get medical care with a self-diagnosis. Gender affirming surgery typically needs to have a gender dysphoric diagnosis to get, unless you're paying fully out of pocket, which I doubt most trans kids are doing. Most of them are probably going through insurance. So because you need the diagnosis, you would need to get evaluated by a medical professional, typically a therapist or an endocrinologist. Hello? Okay then.